Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you guys a prompt that you can literally copy paste to help you with your resume or your LinkedIn and just basically optimize it and help you get through, creating it or editing it depending whatever it is that you're doing. So you can basically just copy it from the description of this video or from the pinned comment depending what YouTube allows me to do. So now with this prompt, right, it will help us customize and edit our LinkedIn and our resume. So to do this, you can do it in a standard chat like this, or a custom GPT. A lot of people seem to like that as well, but for me, my preference personally is always projects mode, because with projects mode it's just a lot more organized. It's like your own separate folder. You also have this amazing option right here for memory to keep it project only, to keep your overall memory hygiene and ChatGPT nice and clean. So let's just say we're going to go and type this into as a resume, and alright, so now we're going to go ahead and create the project. Now like I said, with that it's going to keep all memories confined to projects mode with that nice little setting, and that way there won't be memories from other chats interfering or this going into other chats. So we're going to keep it nice and confined, and I'm going to go ahead and paste the prompt. So the prompt looks something like this. Essentially it's, you are my resume and LinkedIn optimizer. Your job is to rewrite my resume and LinkedIn to match a target role, improve clarity, and increase interview chances fast. So the rest of this I'm not going to go over. It's a fairly long prompt, but for the most part, you guys can look at it if you want to change it, but this is just copy pastable. It's very beginner friendly. You just have to copy paste, hit enter, and then you're good to go. Now the next part of this is it's essentially going to start asking you questions so that it can better understand the context of what it is you're trying to do. And, at this point, just answer the questions as descriptive as possible. That way it has as much information to work with and be as optimal for you to give you the best possible results. So I'm going to go ahead and answer these questions. This first one is, what role are you targeting? I'm going to answer all these with hypothetical situations so that it can help create it for me and give you an example of what it would look like. But I'm not going to go through each of these questions right this second. I'm going to go answer them right now, and then we'll go over them very quickly once I'm done. So I'll be right back. Alright, so it went ahead and actually started to help us with this. Now, I gave it very general information as, because I'm obviously coming up with a hypothetical situation and I don't have all of that information available. But if you did and you were actually working to do this, it would be 1,000 times better. But just to give you an example, it asked what role. I said I'm going for a junior programmer at Ubisoft. Asked for the job posting. I just basically gave an understanding of what the requirements that would essentially be necessary, because there is no job posting because it's hypothetical. I just said understanding of C++ and Python programming, whatever. Paste your current resume. I didn't have one because obviously this is hypothetical, but we basically just said that I got an undergrad at NYU in computer science and then an internship in video game programming at EA. Then we basically went to, it's asking about our LinkedIn, so it can fix both at the same time. I just went very general. I said 25-year-old video game programmer with love for RPGs. What's your experience level? I just said entry, but internship experience. What are your top 3 strongest projects? I just made up a few. What are your top 5 skills? I just said, the programming that I mentioned earlier and the indie game creation, etc. Any constraints? I just said limited experience. It asks what type of tone we would like. I just said to do it in a more formal tone. And then finally, the output preference, I said to do both together. Now, keep in mind, like I said, this is not a lot of information because this isn't a real resume that I'm working with. I'm working with a hypothetical one where if you actually inputted your information, it would be a lot easier for it to draft and understand what to do. So then it goes here and it says, I have enough to build a tailored draft. I'm using only what you provided, and I'll flag places where stronger details or exact metrics would help most. I'm tailoring this toward entry-level Ubisoft programming roles, especially C++ heavy gameplay or engine-adjacent positions. And you see here, I optimized this for an entry-level Ubisoft programmer path, etc. Now, a few important notes before the draft. I did not invent metrics, tools, or degrees, or project details. I removed age from LinkedIn language. Do not list your age. I kept your experience truthful, but some bullets. So see how it actually gave some good criticism. For instance, don't put your age on LinkedIn. That's not something I personally would know. I don't personally have a LinkedIn, but this gives you an idea of how that would work. Now we go to ATS keyword and where it fits, and it goes and it shows us all the stuff that we should be including. Then we scroll down and the resume is basically recreated for us as best as possible with the information that it had. So this is how you'd want to structure your resume according to ChatGPT. in terms of projects, skills, etc. And you can go and basically copy paste this and then edit it yourself to make sure it aligns with what it is you're doing. Then finally, bullet upgrades 10 before. It goes here and it shows us everything from before and after. Won a scholarship for academic achievement at NYU. Then after, earned an academic achievement scholarship at New York University in recognition of strong. You see what I'm saying? How it basically includes everything and how that would actually be interpreted and seen as a plus when we're actually applying for a job and where exactly you should be putting this. So then you see missing info checklist. These are things that we should, like in my case right now, I didn't give enough information, and even if you didn't give enough information, it'll give you this as well, so that it can help you optimize your stuff so that it has enough information and the way for you to look the best when you're actually applying for a position. So we see exact metrics to add. It tells us what we should add, tools or tech to list, for instance, what we should be including, gaps to clarify if there are any, your exact EA internship title in this case, and whether the degree is completed or still in progress, the LinkedIn headline options, LinkedIn About section, and just everything of how we can actually make this a lot cleaner, better, and help us actually get the positions that we're applying for in this case. Then featured section suggestions, where you can have a resume PDF, GitHub profile, recruiter keyword list, where to place it, just basically literally everything you need to, up your chances of actually getting an interview and hopefully the job in this case. Now, of course, like I said with this, I didn't actually give it enough information, so it tells us exactly what we should be adding, and the same would apply for you guys. And it will build what it needs to build. Even if you don't have that much information, it'll go with assumptions, and it'll tell you what assumptions it's using, as you can see right here. So that's about it. All you have to do is copy the prompt that we have in the description of this video, or as the pinned comment, paste it into ChatGPT, hit enter, answer all of the questions as descriptive as possible, and provide any documentation so that you can give it context, and it'll be much better for you overall because it'll understand who you are and what you're trying to create, as opposed to me where it was more general. Try to be descriptive, and then you're pretty much good to go. It'll help you develop your resume and your LinkedIn. You can do them both at the same time, as you've seen like I did, and you'll be ready to go. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and have a nice day.